Welcome back to Saints Squad. I'm your host, Dylan Sanders of Saints Wire. And I think that Tyler Shough is going to win the quarterback battle in week one.
I'm Ross Jackson, host of the Locked On Saints podcast, and I too think Tyler Shough will go out there and shuck it to win that quarterback battle for week one.
John Hendricks, New Orleans Football, and I also like to live dangerously.
This is former Saints wide receiver Lance Moore, and I saw that Tyler had his first meal in New Orleans at Drago's, but did he shuck any oysters?
It's the Saints Squad, sponsored by Gametime. Everything New Orleans Saints, every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from down in the Big Easy, the way only Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. It's the Saints Squad show, starting now.
Howdy, UDFA Nation. Welcome back to Saints Squad, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every Monday and Thursday. We have a unique group of experts here ready to bring you a fun and informative show on everything New Orleans Saints. Today, we're going to be diving into stuff like which UDFA pickup was the most intriguing to each of us. Which pick after the first two rounds will have the biggest impact in year one? What will the Saints starting five offensive line look like on week one? And we're about to jump into who we think will win the quarterback battle this offseason and start the first game of the year. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Well, Tyler Shough is already off to a better start than Derek Carr going to Drago's over Chipotle. But is he going to be the week one starter? Lance, what do you think?
Well, let me just say that I too love Chipotle. I mean, like I'm a fan.
No
My
shade
kids
at
love it.
Chipotle,
My wife loves it. Like so, I don't want to dive too far into the food thing. We all know that Drago's is better. Charbroiled oysters is better than Chipotle, right? So yes,
Amen.
Tyler Shough did get off to a good start. I think he's doing the right things as far as kind of trying to immerse himself in the city. He reached out to Will Campbell. I'm sure everybody saw that about things that he should or shouldn't be doing. And Will Campbell said he's going to take him deep sea fishing or something like that.
Gator hunting.
Gator hunting. Yes. Yeah, deep sea fishing, gator hunting. It's all in the same vein. So I get it. But my answer is Spencer Rattler. You asked who do I think is going to be the Saints starter. I actually do think that it's going to be Spencer Rattler. And not because I'm not a fan of Tyler Shough or I don't think that Shough will eventually be the starter. I think Spencer Rattler has a leg up because he's been in the NFL. He started a couple games. He's got reps being a starting quarterback and already has an understanding of what that looks like and what that needs to look like. He's got experience in adversity as being the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. He's got experience in making some good plays as the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. And I think that experience is not necessarily the thing that's going to like win it for him in the preseason games exactly. I think it's going to be what wins him the job throughout the summer, into minicamp, going into training camp. I think he's just going to look better than Tyler Shough. And if it's obvious and apparent that he looks better going into the season, they're going to have to make him the starter. That's just my opinion. Tyler Shough's obviously not going anywhere, but to our point that we've been saying kind of this entire run of the show that we've had, you got to see what you've got, like with the full allotment of players around him. And I just think that's the direction that we're going to go.
Yeah. Ross, what do you think?
I actually agree with Lance that it should be, in my opinion, it should be Spencer Rattler. I think, though, that it will be Tyler Shough. And so it's a little bit of it. I'm having to kind of like both sides this.
Nope.
Bit.
That's the Ross answer. That's the Ross answer. Pick one right now. Or
pick a lane.
The one that I'm picking is Tyler Shough because I think he's going to end up being the starter because I think that he's this coaching staff selection. I think that's the thing that's going to end up being the separating factor. I think it would be better for him if he didn't have to come in week 1. I think that'd be a better situation for him, if I'm being completely honest. But I think that this coaching staff that made this investment, they now carry the tag that he's the highest drafted quarterback in the NFL draft, not the supplemental draft, but in the NFL draft for this franchise since Archie Manning 50 plus years ago, back in 1971. He's Mickey Loomis's highest drafted quarterback. It's the first time that any of Mickey Loomis's head coaches has been able to go out there and handpick an early quarterback in the draft and all these other things. Like, they carry all of those tags. And I think that pressure is going to seep through to where, if we're operating here under the pretense that it's not Derek Carr, I think it will be Tyler Shough, but I think it should be Spencer Rattler. So I'm going to give you a longer version of my Ross answer, and you're going to deal with it.
Okay, well, I'm not going to be happy about it. John, make me happier. Pick a side.
Well, I'm going to side with Lance. I'm going to go with Spencer Rattler. I mean, I sat here a couple weeks ago and said, why not him? Why not be the guy, right? With all the stuff going on with Derek Carr. And so, look, with Spencer Rattler, here's what I would say. He probably will start week 1, but I think that Shough could be a starter down the line. And then who knows if Derek Carr will come back in the equation. Like, they could have 3 starting quarterbacks this season, but
right.
I think week 1, if I'm looking at it, first crack at it, I would look at Spencer Rattler. I think that the way he's carried himself, the way he's gone into this situation, I know it's tough, right? Like, I mean, Ben DiNucci, we knew he was going to be an odd man out, right? You just weren't going to have 5 quarterbacks and such. But with Spencer Rattler, I think he can go in there and you give him the offensive line that he needs. You give him the support he needs. I think he's been around long enough to where, like I've said on previous shows, the game slows down for him in his second year. I think it's so important. And again, Kellen Moore, all he said, and as a rookie, everything, you're just trying to swim. So unless he comes out and plays gangbusters in training camp and just shows that he's that dude, I think Spencer Rattler will show that he's the guy that's more mature, more poised in the pocket, more, composed when it comes to running the Saints offense. And I get it, it's going to be different, all this other stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and side with Spencer Rattler at this point because we just don't know what's going to happen to Derek Carr, and what a mess.
Oh man, gets weirder and weirder every day.
I do think that Spencer Rattler has earned the chance, but I'm going to go with Tyler Shough because I just think that he is going to get the preferential treatment of being the second round pick. He's going to be Kellen Moore's guy. And as much as we would like to think it's going to be a fair quarterback battle this year, I just really don't think it's starting off fair. Maybe Spencer Rattler does come in and surprise people and, earn that starting job. But I don't think it's starting off on a fair ground because I do think that Shough is Kellen's guy. They're both learning this offense for the first time. And I do think that they're not going to be wanting to sit their quarterback, their starting quarterback that's, a little bit of an older rookie to be like, okay, well, we'll play you half of the time that you're 26 and then let you sit the rest of the time.
Right.
I just think that from week 1, from right now, I think Tyler Shough has the leg up on the race, even if it isn't fair.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
I think he's got to go out and earn it, though. I think he's got to go earn that.
Yeah, he can't go out there and stink it up and then still get it.
Oh, yeah, no, it's going to be a battle. But as of right now, I do think that Tyler Shough has the leg up, in my opinion.
I think the disadvantage that Spencer Rattler is at is that Spencer Rattler, unfair as it may seem, has to be noticeably better than Tyler Shough. If they're anything close to one another, Ty will go to the runner, and the runner will be the guy that this coaching staff
Good
shows.
point. Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't that what I said?
A little bit, except a little bit.
Hey,
I mean, I just
spicy meatball.
I think that he's got to prove, right? Like he's got to go out in OTAs, in mini camp, through training camp, even in the preseason games. Obviously, you can't go out there and stink and be great in practice.
Right.
Like nobody has ever seen that happen with the starting quarterback in the NFL. But I think I just think his even though it's minimal, I think his little bit of experience will give him the edge as far as how he plays. Maybe not in the coach's minds going into this offseason or in the coach's minds after the draft. If very well, right now, Kellen Moore might be like, yeah, we got to get this Tyler Shough guy ready. But I'm saying what I've seen from Spencer Rattler, what I know about the player and the person, I just believe that he's going to go and take that job. I don't think they're going to give it to him. I totally agree that it's going to be a situation where he's playing from behind the 8 ball. Like he's got to go and like really take that job. But I think he's going to do it. I don't know. I maybe the underdog in me is rooting for him.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's not a situation where I don't want to see Tyler Shough play, right? Like I want the best player to win the job and to be the starting quarterback. It doesn't matter, 2nd round draft pick, 5th round draft pick last year. Like, I don't care. I want the best player to be on the field. And I don't want there to be any other, we drafted this guy in the 2nd round, we have to play him. Or we had this guy on our team last year, we need to see him, we have to play him. I want the best guy to win the job and to be the quarterback for this season for the Saints. And if that guy's struggling and we get halfway through the season, flip him and put the other guy in, right? Like what damage does it do? I do think we're going to see both guys, but I just think that Spencer's going to win the job going into the season.
And Lance, I mean, Ross, you've pointed out before, like, Spencer's been working since the offseason got here, right? And so I'm curious to see how much of that time he's put in for the past several months has paid off for him, right? Like, this is the time where you work on mechanics, work on whatever shortfalls you need, look at the film, all this other good stuff. And so I'm interested to see how much growth Rattler has because if you remember last year at rookie minicamp, we were all enthralled with Spencer Rattler, right? Like, I mean, we saw how good he looked at rookie minicamp. Now, granted, it was like a day, right? But just some of the throws, the connection with Bub Means, like all this other stuff. So we felt excited. I'm interested to see, is that going to happen the same with Tyler Shough? Not that it's a fair comparison, but just saying.
Yeah, my bad, John.
No,
I remember with Spencer Rattler during minicamps, it was like the ball velocity was the big difference, right? Because it was him throwing, and it was who was it?
Oh,
Kellen
not
Mond.
Josh. Yeah,
Kellen Mond, right?
Josh
Yeah. It was the 2 of those guys throwing, and like you could see the noticeable difference on the ball coming out of Spencer Rattler's hands, and it was like it was kind of a night and day situation. I'm really interested to see like what that night and day situation looks this time around, whether it's we'll see who participates in rookie mini camps. Spencer Rattler gives me the vibe of a guy that would, even in his 2nd year, participate in rookie mini camps and be out there just to get work in and stuff like that. So maybe
I don't think he can.
I don't think he can.
Oh, he can. Okay.
There's
certain veterans or something like that could do it.
Yeah.
Like Jordan Mims did it last year.
Tryout.
Yeah, something. So I don't remember the exact language, but there is certain.
If the players got
Tyler Shough.
If the player's got an accrued season, he can't
what it is.
Got it.
be
That's
in,
what it
in
is.
rookie
The
minicamp.
right.
Now, but
Cool.
that's the reason why there are 2nd and or 3rd potentially guys at rookie minicamp or veteran players who are on a tryout basis. You can't have a guy who played in several games, and really it's just the active thing, right? If the player is on the active roster for 6 weeks, that constitutes an accrued season. Therefore making them ineligible for rookie minicamp unless they are on a tryout basis, which means they're not on the roster. So
so that's why Kellen Mond was able to do it last year.
Correct. And each team, I believe each team can have up to 5 veteran players on a tryout basis.
Gotcha. So we'll see. Yeah. So we'll see at rookie minicamp Hunter Deckers and Tyler Shough. At this point, we'll see what changes between now and then. But those would be the 2 quarterbacks that would be eligible to participate. And I think Tyler Shough is going to look pretty good in that situation. No offense to Hunter Deckers, but like we're talking 2 different classes of 2 different tiers of quarterback in this year's draft. So we'll see where that ends up looking like for him.
What is this quarterback battle gonna look like? What should fans expect when training camp starts between these 2?
Oh man,
fans
could be present for it too.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's a great question because I wonder what the reps are going to be like. Because you remember last year at training camp, they put this bonus period in, right? They could put a bonus period in, but not an activation period. Anyways, I digress. But they put in extra to help developmental reps is what they called it, right? For guys like Rattler, guys like Haener. And so it's one of those where I wonder if it's going to be, if you run 20 reps, are you going to split it 8, and then 4 for the other quarterback or whatever the case may be? I'm legit curious, but I just remember last year that they did that extra period for some of those young players. So I don't know if Kellen's going to do that too, but it's a good question.
Yeah. Well,
I wonder now how much better the team would have been if those developmental reps went to the actual roster as opposed to the developmental players. But I'm curious now if that ended up like robbing additional reps from starter guys or something like that. I don't know. It's very interesting. I hadn't thought back to that.
Yeah.
That's a good call, John.
Yeah. Well, we talked about who is probably going to be throwing the football, but now we get to talk about who is going to be protecting them come week 1. There's nothing like the atmosphere of an NBA playoff game. Every bucket, defensive stop, every moment feels huge. It's electric in the arena, and with Game Time, you can be part of it without the stress of last-minute ticket hunting. If you're lucky enough to be close to an NBA playoff game, not New Orleans, but if you are close to one, you can go to one, and the cheapest way to get tickets, cheapest way to get it in the building will be with Game Time. Because Game Time makes it fast and easy to get playoff tickets, even when the demand is sky high. Prices actually go down as the tip-off gets closer, and their last-minute deals can save you up to 60%. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and you just go to Locked On NFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. The Saints invested into the offensive line this offseason with a first-round draft pick, but people don't think he's going to be starting in his natural position year 1. Where is he going to be starting, and what's it gonna look like around him, John?
Yeah, I'm with you. I just don't know. I think I said on the last show that I don't know that they came away with one guy that you say is absolutely going to be the starter in week 1. Again, yes, Tyler Shough is probably one, and so is Kelvin Banks Jr. But I think right now, if I'm looking at getting the best 5, I'm looking at Trevor Penning, right? And I'll stay there with Dylan Radins, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, and Taliesin Fuanga, just because Penning is, I get it. People feel that way, but I think Penning is going to get the shot. I think that Radins, again, he's a guy when he played with the Titans, I think he did a pretty good job, right? He's a guy that played 90+% snaps. He was available, has some shortfalls. Obviously, a lot of these offensive linemen do, but again, I feel like that's the direction that they would go right now. But again, just like I said earlier, with Rattler may start, then it's Shough. I feel like the offensive line is going to change really quickly. But again, I don't know what Banks Jr., if he can come in and really just impress from day one. They don't have an adversary or like a reservation for starting a rookie. Obviously, look what happened to Taliesin Fuanga. That worked out really well. But I just think with Penning and Radins, they're probably going to be those guys that are on that side of the ball.
Ross, what do you think?
I feel like I might have the most controversial one.
Ooh,
I like controversial. Let's do it.
I feel like I might have the most controversial one. I'm going to keep Taliesin Fuanga at left tackle because I don't think there's any reason to move him. McCoy at center, Ruiz at right guard. Those are the ones that are set up. I'm putting Banks at right tackle and I'm putting Radins at left guard. It's a tough situation, and that means Trevor Penning's not one of the 5 on the field. I think that it comes down to Penning having to learn a third position in 3 years, and that's going to be really challenging. The only thing that maybe gets in the way of this is pride, and understandably so, right? The front office saying, nah, but I don't think the front office is really going to get in the way on this situation. I think this comes down to the coaching. There's no loyalties really when it comes to a new coaching staff coming in and working with a previous staff's draft pick. They're not picking up the 5th-year option, which I think is wise. Cross-train him, get him working at guard. Then if you re-sign him, you're re-signing him to guard money instead of tackle money. It's good business. But I think it's going to take him a second to kind of learn that new position. So I wouldn't expect him, if the idea indeed is to move him to guard, which would be surprising to me. But if that ends up becoming the idea, I don't think that he's going to be ready to go there week 1. And so for me, I think that ends up putting him kind of back in a jumbo tackle situation like he was his first 2 seasons, and then them figuring out if they can get him starting at some point in the middle, at some point throughout his career. Throughout his 2025 season. It's tough, and I'm not trying to say bad things about Trevor Penning. It's just a tough business, as we know. And so that's the way that I look at it. as of right now. But I think mine's probably the most controversial.
Lance, what do you think it's going to look?
I don't think that's controversial.
That's crazy. Okay.
No, because just look at how they drafted, right? Look at the guys that they signed, and it is what it is, right? I mean, and like you said, this is a new staff, so I'm going to start at left guard. I'm going to go with Radens as well, a veteran player that can, you can plug and play. I'm not sure what the super duper upside is, but a guy that is capable. Eric McCoy at center, Cesar Ruiz at right guard. I'm going to flip the script here. At right tackle, I'm going to go Tally Fuaga, a guy that's a natural right tackle and will not have to learn that position. And then I'm going to go with Kelvin Banks Jr. as my left tackle. Bringing a rookie in and what Fuaga had to do last year, bringing a rookie in who naturally is a right-sided player and a guy that played most of his career over on the right, moving to left tackle in the NFL is a big deal, like a very, very big deal, especially when you're playing with right-handed quarterbacks. But I don't think it will be as difficult to move him back over to his more natural right side. I think bringing in another left tackle and telling him, hey, you should go over to the right side and switching sides. And I don't know that the normal fan would even know how difficult it is to switch sides as far as playing tackle goes. Now, playing guard, a little bit different. I would say it's a little bit easier. You're a little bit sheltered playing on the inside. But playing on the outside in space with your opposite foot forward and your opposite foot back, it changes everything that you do as far as playing tackle goes. So I don't think they would have drafted Kelvin Banks Jr. as high as they did if they didn't think that he was going to come in and start. So I would start there. He's definitely going to start. But which side of the line he's going to start on is kind of up in the air. Obviously, it's up to the coaching staff. But I do think that leaving him on his most natural side and allowing Talise Fuaga to go to his more natural side will pay big dividends for this offensive line.
Yeah, and I do think that mine is similar. I don't know. Now I'm gonna do the wrong. I'm trying to both sides it. I feel like it seemed like so much fun whenever Ross was doing it earlier, and now I feel like I kind of
it's a skill, my friend.
Yeah. I'll go with the Kelvin Banks at left tackle, Dylan Radens at left guard, Eric McCoy at center, Cesar Ruiz at right guard, and then Talise Fuaga at right tackle. I think all signs to me point that this coaching staff thinks that Trevor Penning is like the experiment is over with him, or like having at least being considered a de facto starter. As much as Spencer Rattler has to go out and earn it, I think that Trevor Penning has to, this offseason look like a new guy if he wants to start for this coaching staff. I mean, they immediately invested into tackle. They didn't pick up his first year option. I feel like that they are, seeing, the writing on the leaves with him and his future with the team. And, Dylan Radens, I think, is right now the better starter between the two. So then if Dylan Radens does outperform Trevor Penning, then you do get to just be like, hey guys, you get to play your natural offensive line positions. How does that feel? And I feel like that's where we're at right now with the offensive line.
Lance, can I ask you a question on something? I'm just follow me. 2013, y'all had Charlie Brown over at left tackle. Teron obviously was a rookie, 3rd round pick. Just what was that like? Because I know Sean was like, I've seen enough, right? I remember that, but just Teron coming in as a rookie and then just kind of learning. And then because some people thought that he could go in as a guard, right? Because he played different competition, right, at Arkansas Pine Bluff. But just elaborate on that a little bit, because I don't think fans ever heard your opinion or perspective there.
Well, I mean, Teron was not a 1st round pick.
Right.
But he had 1st round pick traits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like freakishly athletic, could run, had great hands. I mean, like he looked the part. The only reason he was not a 1st round pick is because he was at Arkansas Pine Bluff, right? Like that
UAPB, baby.
if he's at USC like Charles Brown, he would have been a top 10 pick, hands down, right? But so usually, I'm not going to say always, usually the cream rises to the top, right? Like the guy that should win the job goes out and you're like, oh, okay, like this dude is for real. And the coaches have no choice. But it's hard, trust me, like it's hard cutting ties with first round picks, right? The team wants so dearly to be right on that first round pick that first round pick generally gets chance after chance after chance. Sometimes a regime changes, whether it's the coaching staff or the front office, but that guy still has that first round pick label, which is the exact opposite of the undrafted free agent guy that might only get one shot. You mess that one shot up, it's a wrap for you. And it might be a wrap for your career. But it, so yes, first round picks have a leg up. They get extra shots, which is probably the reason why we're still talking about Trevor Penning right now.
Right. 100%.
Yeah, that's why I bring it up. Yeah.
But I don't think Trevor Penning had a terrible year last year. Like, so
I don't.
Why they were so ready to draft a first round tackle and basically say, okay, we're done with this guy, and done with this guy as a starter, not necessarily done with this guy, because I still think he's going to be on the field in the big packages, the big tight end packages, the extra tackle packages. I think because he's mean, he's a mauler, like he can get after guys in the run game. And as an add-on offensive lineman in a 6 offensive lineman front, I think he'll be great as a tight end blocking, right? But yeah, I mean, it's Armstead was a different breed though, man. Like that dude. No. I'm not saying that Kelvin Banks Jr. can't be a Teron-like player, but you know, when Teron was on the field now, like we didn't have to worry about that left side at all. Like he was going to handle his business, and generally, if we were helping somewhere, it was on the right side. Like we weren't chipping, we weren't sending the fullback on to the backside to go help Teron at all. I mean, like he was, you know, an elite left tackle in this National Football League, and represented by my partner, actually.
There you go.
So shout out to my partner Dave Butts on this episode.
I would be really surprised if Kelvin Banks is as good of a rapper as Teron Armstead is.
T-Stead.
I don't know. That's a tough one there.
I still have his songs downloaded on my. They still pop up like when I throw my phone on shuffle in the car. Every now and then, I get T-Stead.
And you're immediately hyped up, I assume.
Oh, 100%, 100%, 100%.
But do y'all think that this offensive line is going to be better or worse than last year or the past couple of years? Really?
Can they stay
Does
healthy?
it stay healthy?
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah, because you saw what happened when you lost Eric McCoy. I mean, maybe you could put that's the thing that's playing through my mind. If McCoy goes down, who's the next guy? Is it Will Clapp? Is it Kyle Hergel? Like I don't know. That's my biggest thing. Is I know Cesar is coming off of a little bit of a down year, right? I feel about Fuanga. He's going to elevate next year, but that's my biggest thing. Is the days of an offensive line going the distance or 90% plus the snaps, you know, it doesn't happen. I mean, the Lions had that happen. There are teams that have that happen. Eagles, I think, were another one, but you know, Ted Rath comes into focus here. Their overall conditioning, all that stuff, that all comes into focus here. And so if they can stay healthy, be healthy, do all that, I hope we could see them go the distance, or at least 85% or better, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's got to be the key, is can you keep those guys all on the field at the same time? Because when you change one of them out, everything changes. You know what I mean? And then especially if it's a center, it still shocks me. And maybe it just speaks to what the talent at center is in the NFL. But it shocks me that like team after team after team loses its starting center and then sees a big drop off across its entire offensive line. But so few teams have a legitimate focused backup center. It's always some right guard that plugs in or some other player that moves from another position. And I get like versatility, roster numbers, all these other things. Maybe the NFL should consider expanding its roster numbers. I don't know. But maybe, just maybe.
Should.
You know,
18 game season.
or
yeah, we've talked about this,
You know what I
Ross.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
or just saying that let's just make the roster the 53 plus the 16 practice squad guys. They're already there. Or hey, how about this? All 53 guys can dress.
What? No way.
What?
Yeah. I know.
Why would anybody ever think that's a
Nice.
bad idea? No. We can't dress 53 guys. It's 47.
Yeah. And so I wonder how much these ridiculous roster rules end up impacting teams' ability to be able to have like a dedicated backup, specifically center, right? People that know the cadence, that know the protections, all these other things. Like it feels like that's a spot where the NFL could really help teams. But I don't know, maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree when it comes to the NFL on that one.
Yeah,
Well,
if they listen to Locked On Saints, I'm just saying, you got the idea. Just like we had Keenan Allen listening last episode, right?
That's right. That's right.
Well, and then he signed
That's
somewhere
right.
else.
Shout out
didn't he?
Keenan again. No, he ain't signed nowhere yet.
I think
You
he
think
signed
about
somewhere.
Elijah Moore.
Elijah
Moore
Moore
signed.
No.
Elijah Moore.
Oh, unless you got the
Yeah, unless
Lance
you
might
heard
have the
something, we
scoopy
ain't
scoop.
heard nothing.
Lance might have the scoopy scoop.
Do your thing, Dylan. I'll get it.
Well, we talked a lot about the
Lance,
first two
like-
picks of the draft. We're going to be talking about why some of the later picks might end up making just as big of an impact after week one. Did you know that your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and dive into hundreds of premium titles, including EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty, as easily as you stream your favorite TV shows. I was, jumping into EA College Football 25, building up a roster of the Saints draft picks. Quincy Riley was a 92 overall. That's crazy. Tyler Shough was only an 84, but, you can still throw dimes with him in that game and, maybe make you feel a little bit better about the Saints draft. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K, 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max, 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen. Well,
I was wrong. I'm going to take accountability right now. I was wrong. I stand corrected. He is still a free agent.
That was so good.
Well,
That
I
was
don't know if he
awesome.
shucks with us, though.
Hopefully he's listening and be like, wait, did I sign somewhere?
Yeah. Call his agent right now. Hey, I heard
Hey, what
guys.
happened, man? Hold up.
Hey, I was listening to my favorite show. It's live every Monday and Thursday on Locked On Saints YouTube channel. Well, we've talked a lot about the beginning of the Saints draft, which is all that seems like anyone's talking about. Well, let's give some love to the rest of the class. I want to hear what pick after the first rounds that you think will be having the biggest impact during year one. Ross, give me your pick.
Well, I'm going to go with number 92 overall cornerback in EA Sports college football, Quincy Riley. That's what I'm going with. I actually had him written down. Yeah, look, Quincy Riley is probably one of my favorite selections in this draft class, just as a whole. 6 foot, 195-pound physical corner, but really, really good speed as well. And so he kind of blends physicality and speed. Whether he plays outside or inside is going to be very interesting. I think you probably want to keep Alontae Taylor on the inside and then have him start on the outside. But look, if you can get Alontae back to where he was his rookie season on the outside, then I think you got a pretty good corner over there too. So we'll see which way Brandon Staley ends up going with all of it. And then working with guys like Grady Brown and Terry Joseph, like what a gift for these young DBs. And so I think Quincy Riley, one of my favorite things that he said when we were talking to him after he was selected, beyond referring to Terry Joseph as what did he call him, John, the guy in the mid-50s? I think is all so he referred to Terry Joseph. I loved it. But the thing that I loved from him was him talking about, I had asked him, like, do you have a lot of experience playing both inside and outside? What do you like? And he immediately said, I love playing inside. And then he went on to talk about like how he can do both and all these other things. But I wanted to know why he immediately came out and said, I love playing on the inside. And he said that the reason why is because about 90% of the time he gets to be a part of the play, whether it's a tackle, a pass breakup, interception, whatever, that he is in some way or another impacting the play. And I just think that like that's the type of mentality you want from a guy on your defense, no matter where it is that he's playing. He's got really good ball hawking ability. 15 career interceptions, somewhere between 40 to 54 passes defended, depending upon who you ask, and all that. I just think that he's a guy that comes in and can potentially immediately have a role on the defense, whether inside or out week one. And because of that, it maximizes his ability to have a bigger impact than maybe some of the other day 3 guys or day 2, day 3 guys.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with Vernon Broughton. That's a guy I feel like that gets forgotten about in this class because I mean that's the nature of being a defensive tackle, a one tech specifically. I feel like you don't get the shine, but I do think that he's gonna have a massive impact on year one. And even he doesn't seem like maybe the traditional run defender that a lot of people think the Saints got. But he is a massive dude that's going to be clogging up the middle next to Brian Bresee. And I do think that he has that athletic ability that will help him in the run game. And is just what I'm most excited to see about this Brandon Staley defense after last year is how much better they look against the run, because it was just such a plague of the team last year. And I think that Vernon Broughton is a guy that I always get really excited when the Saints invest into the defensive line with an early pick, just because of how good they were in years past, like UDFAs. And they must really like this guy. Vicky Loomis must really like this guy to feel comfortable spending a 3rd round draft pick on him. And I'm just excited to see what he's going to be used like. And I wasn't moved by the Devon Godshaw pickup as much as some people were. I mean, shout out to the guy LSU Tiger, best school ever. But I'm just not. Careful. I'm not sure that he's going to be the one to turn this defense around. And I think that Vernon Broughton's going to get a huge opportunity to do so.
I think my favorite quote when I asked about his play style, I'm not going to say the exact quote, but he said he plays hard AF. And I mean, he plays really hard, like
hardest.
I don't know, something to appreciate. Something to appreciate about a guy like that. And I think that's a lot of the character of the players the Saints drafted. And look, I mean, Bo Davis making that pick, call him and stuff. I think he had obviously a hand there. Terry Joseph knows who he was. I mean, they need a stout defensive line because you got to stop the run. 31st against the run last year. I think he can bring a little bit of pass rush to the table too. I mean, look, I want the best 4 or 5 guys on that line, right?
Yep.
Too. Same thing we talk about for the offensive line. And so can he be that? Maybe, I don't know, but it's going to be a lot of competition.
Are you worried at all that Bo Davis referred to him as chicken legs on his draft call? It's Bo, calm down, bro.
Yeah, right. We'll ask him about it when we go to camp.
Oh yeah. He's gonna love that.
Oh man, Lance, who do you think is going to be the biggest impact after year one?
Well, before I go to my guy, I gotta ask Ross about something. This is something I've never heard before. He said, "Hey, Quincy Riley's got between 40 and 54 pass breakups, depending on who you ask." Well, we're asking you, bro.
Well, no,
how many pass breakups did he have?
if you ask Dane Brugler, it's 54. If you ask Pro Football Reference, it's 40. If you ask Pro Football Focus, it's somewhere in between. Like it's just everybody tracks it different because he had those years at Middle Tennessee and everything. And so with that,
the small school gets no love. Yeah, your pass breakups over there don't count, bro.
I know, it's crazy. It's wild.
Count for half.
So I'm rolling with Dane Brugler's number. Dane Brugler's number was 54. That tells me that he counted what happened at Middle Tennessee, and so I want to side with that.
Yeah, let's big up his stats, man. Let's big up his stats. Yeah. And as we're talking about stats, I'm gonna go with Danny Stutzman because I love the guy. The energy, the effort, the swag, the charisma, the character. I mean, the dude is
the juice.
Got it, man. Like he will probably start out as a special teams guy, right? A 4-core special teams guy. He's going to make plays on special teams. And knowing what we know about the defenders already on this team, somebody's going to get hurt, and Danny Stutzman is going to get a chance to play. And I really see him being a guy that's going to be like an Iron Man, like a guy that isn't going to get hurt anytime soon. He's going to be able to play and make plays. And I don't know, man. I believe that this kid is going to be a high impact player in this season. And I'm not going to say he's going to be the best player on our defense, but I do think that he's going to be a guy whose energy will be big time positive for this team and especially this defense when he gets the chance to go out there and play with the guys. And I'm excited to see him in the Saints uniform for sure.
Yeah.
The dude who said, if a coach wants me to run through a wall, I will run through a wall. Love the energy.
We got people running through walls. We got people dying on the field. I want to see people make it through a week.
Tyler Shough's Instagram post, I read it, and I was like, that's really awesome. Like, he's really connected with the city. Calm down a little bit, though. Like, no one wants you to die on the field. We've been through this. It's all good. Like, we don't need any more of that. The thing that I love about Danny Stutzman, too, Lance, is that he's like a vocal leader. And I feel like there's so many of these guys that come in and they always say, I'm not a rah-rah guy. Everything like that. He comes off to be as a rah-rah guy. And I think teams need those guys. I think if you have a whole locker room
it looks genuine though. He's
not faking
there are, trust me, I've been in locker rooms with guys that are doing a lot of the rah-rah, and you're like, bruh, you're not even playing today. Like, we're not trying to hear you, right? So like, it's manufactured, right? And with Danny Stutzman, it doesn't seem manufactured based on his history, right? I mean, that's the type of guy that he is, and you want to have those types of guys around.
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me of Keith Brooking energy, for those who know who Keith Brooking is.
Oh, nice. Whoa, good call.
Throwback.
Well, flex.
John, who do you think is going to be the pick to shine in year one?
It's probably not a surprise. I just wrote a feature on him, but Devin Neal from Kansas. It's look, I just turn on the tape. That's all I gotta say. Go watch the Colorado tape. Go to 2021. Go watch what he did against Texas. Go watch a lot of these games. I mean, you're talking about a guy who performed well against Oklahoma, Texas, Colorado, a lot of these colleges. I mean, one of the best stories I got out of when speaking to the Kansas's coaching staff yesterday is the fact that a couple of things. Like, there was a drive against Kansas State where he had his shoulder popped out, and he went and got 10-2 on the medical tent. And then he went right back in, and on a 3rd and 7, takes a wide zone concept in for a 24-yard touchdown. I mean, without even batting an eye. And another one was against Texas, his second game as a true freshman. He's like, I can't breathe. He's like, I can't breathe. Like, I got to come out of the game because there's so much anxiety. Then he ends up having a 4-touchdown performance against Texas and a 57-56 overtime win against them. And so it's just, this dude's got like so much juice, energy. He can catch out of the backfield. He does a lot of good things on tape. I'm not concerned about how many carries he had. I'm not concerned about any of that. Like, the dude's character is just like where you want it to be, and fits that running back room. Very selfless player, just somebody who can come in here like a sponge. Like, he even texted his running back coach, Jonathan Wallace, and said after the draft, he's like, hey, I want to go get with you, do some individual work and some drills, look at some tape so I can hit the ground running in New Orleans. Dude, you know what that type of stuff is. Like, that's the type of player I want on my team. And with the Saints running back room the way it is, again, is Kendre Miller going to be available and healthy? Is Jordan Mims your third running back? Is that going to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Is that, there's too many question marks there for me. And so I think Neal has an opportunity to come in and kind of just light it up a little bit. I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to run for 500 yards or, get 10 touchdowns his first season, but I think he is a nice change of pace back, a bruiser. He's somebody who can do a lot of really good things. And so he's my pick. Really like him.
Yeah. I mean, I think that as much as anywhere else, there's the opportunity for him to get huge on the field a lot because of, the uncertainty behind Alvin Kamara. And I think that's going to be, he was really fun to watch in college, and so it's gonna be exciting to see what they can do with him, because I just feel like the run game has needed that extra little something, especially like last year whenever it wasn't Kamara. It just felt like there was nothing working.
Yeah. Boom, no zoom. You just don't have anything. You need something like that again. They get that 1-2 punch. And you don't have Taysom. Yeah, you don't have Taysom for the foreseeable future. So that hurts their run game too. I mean, they got to find some answers here in the run department. So I don't know.
Well, I feel like Neal goes way earlier in a different running back class.
That's what Joel Thomas said. He said last year, and some of these running backs go way earlier if it was last year. And of course, Genty was going to be number one, like the top running back off the board. But that's something Joel Thomas said. So,
yeah. Well, we've talked, about some guys who got drafted. But coming up next, I'm going to tell you why a UDFA for the Saints will be starting on week 1.
Ooh.
There's nothing like the atmosphere of a college baseball game. I love going to college baseball games. It's one of the most fun pastimes that you can do. And Gametime makes it fast and easy to get those tickets. Even when the demand is sky high, prices go down as the game gets closer to starting. And the last-minute deals can save you up to 60% on tickets. This weekend, it's one of the last 2 weekends that Tulane baseball is going to be hosting a home series. They're playing Florida Atlantic. And I can't imagine there's going to be much more fun places to be than Yeoman, right next to Yeoman Field at the Tulane Baseball Stadium. It's going to be a blast, and you should go. So you should go to any sporting event, and you can take the guesswork out of buying those tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. As much as I've been excited about the draft picks that the Saints have had, there's one player that I'm very excited about, and he was a UDFA. And I think that he's going to come in and earn a starting job week 1. And I think that it's someone that has a prime opportunity to do so. That's James Burnip.
Oh, there we go.
Punter.
Yeah, I was going to say him.
Go.
James Burnip.
The punter.
Punter talk. Off the bat, we're starting it with punter talk. Because there's a stat I have to get off of my chest with James Burnip. You look and he averages around 45 yards per punt, and that's not something that pops off the stat sheet. But there is something that does. How many yards per return teams had against him last year? 1. A single. 1.00. And that is the type of game-changing energy that the Saints have lacked on the punting side of the ball since Thomas More said. Watching a good punt is one of the most exciting things in football to me. I don't know if that makes me a sicko, but it is. Oh,
no, that definitely makes you a sicko.
No, man, I love
you could have said a Lance Moore touchdown, Dad. You could have said
Drew
a
2-point conversion in the Super Bowl, maybe.
Nah.
5 second plus
if I see that ball, I'm like, oh, it's about to go out of the 2-yard line. I'm jumping up, running around. I'm excited. And I think that James Burnip can be that type of excitement at punter. And I just think that he's going to come in and start week 1. Yeah, I don't see how he doesn't win this job. And I just think that it is someone he's the Australian punter that played in the SEC. He marks all the boxes.
6'6", 235. I mean, you see some of his punts well over 5 second hang time. I mean, he's going to push Matt Hayball for sure, right? Like, I mean, that's the thing is he's a what?
Okay. I was going to say he's also an Australian punter who played in the SEC.
Yeah, right. I know. So I don't know. I mean, I think the punting game is such a revolving door in a lot of ways. Like, I think that's one of the hardest positions to keep in the league now, just because of the evolution, that Australian style punting that they do. But man, he's got some beautiful punts that just you look and it's like, okay, I can see it. I'm not going to go as far as saying that that's a highlight I take over, 99 other plays, but it's nice. It's nice.
Would you say his measurements were again, John?
6'6", 235.
Boy, he can be an emergency tight end if you need him. Dang.
Yeah. Look, hey, Riz wasn't chewing him out last year. I'll tell you that much. I'm kidding.
Let's see how he tackles on punts. I mean, ideally he doesn't have to, but maybe he could play a little linebacker. He's a football player.
Yeah.
Talk about a highlight.
That's awesome.
This is where we are.
Yeah.
This
I
is where
love some
we
punter
are.
love.
Well, Lance, let's talk about who you think is most exciting.
Hey, look, like most undrafted guys, I had to cut my teeth in the NFL on special teams. So, like,
Yep.
I do understand your point of view as far as having a really good weapon as your punter. I will not agree with you that watching punts is a very exciting part of the game
That's the
for
most
me.
skilled player sentence ever. It's
I'm
all got to
sorry.
be about you.
Look, it's not about me. It's about these other undrafted free agent guys. And while I hope that the best punter wins the job for punter, I will not go with your guy. And look, part of me wanted to pick Tyrene Powell, just because he's intriguing. And we need pass rush guys, right? Like, let me see if this guy is gonna have the juice that we need coming off the edge. But come on, man. I play wide receiver. I was undrafted. Smoochie Dixon.
I love it. I love it.
Just and watching him a little bit more yesterday, I just think he's pro ready. I think he's great as far as separating. He has great ball skills. He's a hand catcher. And the thing that jumped off the tape the most to me is that dude is a finisher, right? Like, he's not catching the balls, getting tackled. He's not catching the balls and falling down. He's catching them and he's getting yards. Like, and you know, he's a guy that can separate from defenders once he's got the ball in his hands. And to me, adding yet another potential weapon into this offense is going to do wonders for what Kellen Moore is able to call as far as the plays go, and make it tough on defenses to be able to defend all of the guys. And watching him on tape as well, he's got versatility as far as playing outside, playing inside. I mean, I think that's what this offense really, really needs, is more versatile guys to be able to kind of I think it's all about me. I'm going to bring it back to me here, Dylan. In our most successful offensive seasons in my career, it wasn't as simple as, hey, Marcus Colston is our X, Devery Meacham are our Z's, and Lance is playing in the slot. We all moved around a lot, and that kept defenses so off balance. Throw in Darren Sproles and Jimmy Graham, and like moving us in different positions. That, to me, is what makes offenses really, really hard to defend. It's a little bit easier when you go old school Indianapolis Colts, Marvin Harrison on the right, Reggie Wayne on the left, and whoever their slot receiver was in those times in the slot. Like, I'm not saying they were easy to cover, because, you know, a lot of those guys are going to end up being Hall of Famers. But if we're able to have a bunch of guys that are versatile and moving them around, it's going to be tough for defenses to really key in and hone in on what exactly the specifics are of their jobs. So that's what I think.
I love it.
Ross, who you got?
I'm actually I'll go with the guy that Lance almost went with in Tyrene Powell. I was planning on going with him coming in. One of the big reasons, I mean, 6'4", 239 pounds. Look, I think you're looking for the guys that have the most direct path to the roster, right? And whether, well, I shouldn't say roster, I should say roster and practice squad. Like, you're looking for, which to Lance's point should just be the dang roster. But anyway, I think that's what you're looking for. And the New Orleans Saints linebacker room is a room that could use some other players in it, whether it's, you know, along with Danny Stutzman, but figuring out, like, bringing in competition, which helps to make guys like Anthony Orji as well as Noah Nephi Sewell better and everything. Like, you want all of that. DeMarco Jackson as well. But I think that the added value of a Tyrene Powell is exactly what Lance mentioned, is that he is somebody that can come in and rush the passer as well. Not only 5 career sacks during his time, but look, 201 career tackles, 11 of which were for a loss. So he's getting involved in a bunch of different ways. And here's the thing. This dude's got arm length and wingspan that would make an offensive lineman jealous. I think he actually outreaches both of the other offensive linemen in this, or the other linemen in this undrafted free agency class. 34 3/4 inch arms, as well as a wingspan of 82.63 inches, so 82 5/8 of an inch. Just insane. And here's the other big thing, to Lance's point, as an undrafted free agent, you're trying to make it in. He is through special teams. He is a guy that has extensive special teams experience, particularly in punt coverage. And so I think he kind of checks all the boxes for the recipe that you're looking for in this instance of a 2025 New Orleans Saints undrafted free agent player trying to make a roster or a practice squad. And so I think he's the guy that I would give kind of the inside most track to at the moment.
Yeah. I'm just talking about punters. I think this is a fun class. I like Moochie Dixon a lot too. He gives me a lot of Rashid Shaheed vibes. I like Tariq Powell. I like this is a fun class. John, who do you think?
Yeah, look, Powell, Burnip, those are probably two of mine. I'd say honorable mention, probably Dallas Beanham from UTSA, the corner. And then I'd say Marcus Yarns, running back from Delaware. He's another one. But for me, I'd say Jasheen Davis, the DE from Wake Forest. So 6'3", 270. What's interesting is the Saints listed him as a defensive lineman. So he can play 3-man fronts, 4-man fronts. He had 25.5 sacks at Wake Forest. That was third in Wake Forest's all-time, if you will. But look, the thing is, again, I think there's something to maybe getting somebody away from that maybe prototype. It's just interesting because I think that they could use him in a variety of different ways. He brings a lot of power to the table. I mean, there's times where he just makes a offensive lineman just look downright silly. And we're not talking about like small school guys. We're talking about like legit competition. There was a play where he sacked Cam Ward and it made that tackle just look stupid. I mean, that's just no other way to put it, right? And getting after Cam Ward. And so look, power, play on both edge spots, right? I'm curious to see if they could use him as a stand-up rusher. Maybe they use him in the trenches. I'm going to say tweener is most times what we call him, but man, he's somebody mixes it up on his stance too. It's not just like a hand in the dirt guy, puts two hands in the dirt, stand up a little bit. He does a little bit of everything. So I'm interested to see him because they need to get after quarterback. They need to be better at getting after quarterback. He's going to have to learn a lot more on the special team side. Maybe it's somebody who can come in and impact, but if he can, the opportunity is in front of him. That's just what I'll say.
Yeah, I love that. He's got a lot of pass rush moves too for a guy coming
very
in
much,
undrafted.
very much, yeah,
big time.
He goes to a different school other than Wake Forest. He's probably a different conversation with that type of production. So just FYI.
Are any of these guys going to be the new? So mentioned in the chat. Who does be the kick returner, punt returner next year? Because I just don't think that there's any way to justify using Rashid Shaheed there anymore. Is that Moochie?
I don't know.
Honestly, the one
anyway. Sorry. Anyway,
really,
Lance, like me.
Yeah, what do you got, Lance?
I could do that.
He's like,
if the job was only to return punts and kicks, sign me up. I'm in shape.
Yeah. They use Lance in punt returns.
I take that back. If I break one, I'm getting caught, and I don't want that to happen.
That's that Jerry Rice mentality of like, I just didn't want to be hit.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Lance breaks open to the open field. He's at the 40, the 30, the 20. Oh no!
That's like Roman when he got ran down by Sam Bradford, right?
That's right. Oh, man. That's right. Or Jay Ajayi getting caught from behind on that breakaway run. It's like, oh no. I'm curious because like a lot of the UDFAs from what I looked at didn't have like extensive return experience like we're used to seeing from the Saints in undrafted free agency.
Yeah,
Beanham was kind of like the one that did it. And then Riley has a lot of punt return experience with the drafted rookies. And so it is going to be interesting. I think that it does end up still being Rashid Shaheed though.
I mean, he is just so good at it.
He's so good.
He's so impactful. Well, what were you saying?
No, as you say, put the ball in your best player's hands. I mean, that's usually the best way. But again, the kick return rules are changing a little bit, so I'm really interested to see how that changes some things up too. Because look, they used Taysom back there. They've used Kendra last year. Tipton was back there, Dante Pettis. I mean, it was a revolving door, right? And Shaheed,
Right.
I think that they'll still give him a chance and opportunity, but they need some explosives out of that.
I remember being so surprised when I saw Dante Pettis on the field. I don't know. I had missed the signing, and I was like, "Is that Dante Pettis?"
Almost running it back for
And then he had a huge kick return.
He almost ran it back. Oh man. Well, if you're be sure to drop a comment, hit us on social media, drop a question. We want to hear from y'all for a little mailbag segment on Monday. So if you have any Saints related questions, drop them in there. We want to hear from you. And until then, thank you for listening to Saint Squad. You can check out me, Ross, John, or Lance on our socials for the latest. We'll be right back here on Monday, ready to talk about more New Orleans Saints off-season moves and shaking and moving and decision making. Until
Chuck and
then,
Jive.
shaking and jiving. We're going to be talking about my favorite punt returns of all time. I mean, lack of
Or just
punt
the
returns
punts,
of all
though.
time.
We're
or
going to
punts
stop
of all
where the
time.
returner actually catches the football.
I don't want to see the guy take it in there. I just want to see it drop on the ground and run out of bounds. Until then, make Locked On NFL your second listen of the day.